the aerospace testing universe, and beautiful, and the weather's wonderful today, Antelope Valley or Aerospace Valley. Today we got a pretty cool lineup. As you can see right now, I'm solo. General Higer is at another engagement, but I'm told he's going to step in here really soon, and we're going to kick some other stuff off. But until he gets here, we're going to go ahead and check out some events coming up here in the next few days and weeks. If you want to throw the slides up, please. All right, so kicking it right off, today is First Friday at Club Muroc. If it's complimentary appetizers if you're a club member. If you're not a club member, grab somebody there in the staff and they'll show you how to do it. They've also recently updated their benefits, if you will, for being a club insider, I think is what we're calling it, instead of club membership, where you get discounts. I actually personally used it today. I had a lunch engagement with our inbound command chief, and I was able to get $1 off on my lunch. It was really good. So if you're interested in being a club member or an insider, just like I said, grab one of the club staff. Then you can roll right in and get complimentary appetizers at First Friday. All right. Next one. There we go. Career fairs coming up. There are lots of opportunities here on Edwards Air Force Base for spouses, for dependents, and even people that aren't base affiliated to come out here and work with us and help us out and keep this mission going and make it the best zip code in the Air Force. So if you can see there, June 15th from 10 to 1 at the Military and Family Readiness Center. We give you the address there if you need that, if you want to plug that into your GPS. Come on out and see us. It's my understanding we're going to talk through what we have available, what we're looking for, and in some cases, get you signed up right there. So if you have time or you know somebody who's interested, by all means, let them know and bring them out and show them around. Next one. Bar Trivia. All right, 3 days on there. April, well, let's talk about June 15th, right? April and May's over. Bar Trivia, so there's going to be some good times in here, right? So music trivia, comedy movie trivia, and foodie trivia going on. It's a free event for if you have base access. Starts at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on June 15th. Should be a good time. It says there, grab some of your friends or come by yourself. Just come out and check it out and see what's going on at Bar Club Muroc Trivia. And I think it's the last one we have for today is Cinema Under the Stars. So our awesome team, our Air Force Ball Committee, is putting on this event. Kind of like a fundraiser, but more, like a fun event for Team Edwards to come out and watch a movie under the stars. It looks like we're going to do Super Mario Brothers. That is going to be 2 June. Oh, that's today. All right. So at the community park, Edwards Community Park, starting at 7 p.m., kind of when you can get in there and bring your chair, lawn chairs, or blankets or whatever you want to do. And the movie starts at 8. So come on out. Pets are welcome. Should be a good time, something to do here on Edwards. All right, moving right along to our special observance month events. And we have an awesome team here who's been putting everything together. We have Miss Lily and Mr. Devin from the 452nd Flight Test Squadron, who have they put a lot of work into this year and came up with some really awesome events and opportunities for us to highlight an important part of our community. So I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so June is Pride Month. This is just to celebrate the community that is part of the bigger community of the Air Force here on Edwards. Starting next Friday on the 9th of June at 06:30, we have a fun run, a 5K color run. So we have shirts. There's chalk involved. It'll be a good time. There's also another time at 8 o'clock for those late birds in the morning. They can come again, get their shirt, get colorful with the chalk, and have a good time.
Yeah, those color runs are always fun. I've done a few and brought my kiddo out to a few, and it's just a good time. You're running through and folks are cheering you on and throwing a little color on you. It's just a good time. It's not necessarily a race to win anything, right? It's a race to have fun. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, so come on out if you can. It'd be great.
All right, next event we have is the following Tuesday, so 13th of June. Just an informal way to get together. Really anybody in the community come together for a coffee talk. So if you want to come out to the Edwards Starbucks, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., again, just an informal sit down, have a chat, anything that's on your mind.
Cool. I've personally attended quite a few of these, and it's always fun to sit down and just talk to people through maybe some struggles they have, some wins they've had, through their communities or through these organizations. It's just a good time to kind of just, if you will, break coffee, break bread, but break coffee and just sip a little bit of coffee and talk through some stuff. It's a really good time.
Absolutely. On June 15th, we're doing a community discussion panel. This is mainly for those in the community to come together, have conversation, a little team building in there also, and just kind of share experiences. And how you doing, sir?
I'm great.
The boss has arrived.
Yeah.
Welcome,
and
sir.
just meet and have a good time. We'll be at the club. And again, this is even if you're not part of the community to an extent, you can just be an ally like myself. So you can come in, just help your airmen to wherever they're at. Especially if they can't talk to anybody, they might find a place here to where they can talk to somebody. And the last event.
All right.
That's a good point, if I can interject there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sorry. He made a good point that you don't have to be part of the community that's being represented. The boss is on with me. Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I was flying solo there. It was scary.
Oh, come on, you're fine.
I went from right seat to left seat instantly, and
That's all right.
didn't want to crash the airplane. But I think it's important for our viewers to understand you don't have to be part of the community that is putting this on to go and experience, and especially in that event. It could be a place where you could glean information and enrich yourself to understanding kind of what other communities experience and what they go through. So that's what I normally get out of it. So if you can make one of these, I think that'd be an awesome opportunity.
Absolutely.
So happy Friday, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, June 2nd, first Friday. This guy is going to brag all about what's going on in the club.
We
later
did.
Today.
I did, sir.
You did already?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
It's first Friday.
It is, exactly.
Yes,
It's
sir.
first Friday. Get out to the club. Tell Katie we all greatly appreciate what she and her team do.
Absolutely.
I was literally miking up when these two started talking about the color run. The way that my schedule stacks up in June, that's the only event that I can make, and I'm making both of them.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm not yet cleared to run that far, so I'll be at the start line and I'll have to dodge the flying chalk as it happens there. I will, however, give a couple previews of the things that I have actively and very proactively participated in at previous Pride months. I literally remember a Pride month. I can't remember if it was June, probably would have been June of 16. I'm the vice commander at Eglin. That was very shortly after a couple major changes in DoD policy.
Yes, sir.
And Eglin asked E9 Navy Chief Petty Officer, Master Chief Petty
Master
Officer.
Chief. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Master Chief came over from Pensacola as the keynote speaker, and he was relaying his experiences of finally being able to march in a parade and not worry about things. Finally being able to announce who the important people in his life were. And at the end of the day, what that chief and I resonated on, without even trying, is that what we do is all about performance, right? And meeting people where they are, convincing all of us, all 0.4 billion Americans, that this is a team you want to join and this is a team you want to perform on. And you know what? It's okay if we all don't like the Denver Broncos or care for professional soccer or whatever, right? It's okay if we have our differences. There are certainly some lines there. The illegal, immoral, and ethical lines are legit. But outside of those, then I welcome what everybody brings to the team. And at the end of the day, it's all about performance, not just as an individual, but it's very much about performance of the team.
Absolutely.
Please put your mic more in the middle. You can yell at me, Nicole. I respond to that too.
That's a good point, sir, while you're readjusting it.
Yeah,
It's
thanks.
okay. I kind of remember when Dad T, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. And I just remember kind of the scuttlebutt, if you will, or the people were talking like it's in different services and in different pockets, like it's like something's going to change and it's going to be terrible. I was like, folks that are in that community have been in our formation for a long time. And a lot of them are rock stars, doing wonderful things. I have good friends that are part of that did have to hide who they were and what they believed in or how they wanted to live, and they weren't able to bloom appropriately. So it was just a beautiful thing, and the world didn't end, and we went on, and we're a better Air Force for it.
Yeah, I had a seminar mate at Army War College that is a California Air National Guard at the time, Lieutenant Colonel, soon pinned on Colonel, and Nick is her name, and she when they structured our seminars, she was like the token guard person. I think she was our only female in the seminar, and there were a whole bunch of other things that she brought to the fight that our seminar benefited from. And one of them is that she and her spouse, both from Northern California, were same gender, and she learned a lot of us on what is it like to be not able to be true to yourself around the people that you couldn't, in theory, like go to combat with. And so the change was huge. I was very much supportive of the "what are we doing here" decision anyway. She reinforced that. It was interesting dialogue, though, as you can imagine, in 2014, 2015. But it was great, and she was awesome. Fast forward to 2016, my participation there, that Master Chief, I learned a lot from. Another item that I want to pivot to with Swiss's thought, look, special observance months are not for people in the special observance community only. In fact, they should be for everybody else, right? Mm-hmm. To raise awareness, build education, break down some barriers, have some conversations. There are a lot of just very simple, basic things that you can learn in candid conversation over a cup of coffee. And so those events that you have structured are fantastic. I'm very proud to be a part of all of these special observances, certainly Pride Month this year, and I look forward to seeing you both hopefully you'll both be at the Cull Run. If not, I will certainly be there.
We'll be at all of them.
times two.
We'll be there all of them.
So thanks for doing that, and thanks for coordinating with the command team in advance for your planning.
Absolutely.
It allows us to help you out to the best we can, and then maximize our attendance and participation, voting with our feet in a very, very positive and affirmative way. So glad you're here. We're 2 days into it. I think you have events today, and there's a whole bunch that kick off
starting
next week
next Friday.
Yeah, so fantastic. Anything else?
Just one more event?
Yeah, so we have our final event, which is the Pride Month Block Party, June 28th from 11 to 2 in the BX parking lot. It's just going to be a big celebration to wrap up the month. And again, like we've mentioned before, it's open to all, so whether you're part of the community or not. And we just want to make sure it was very family friendly, so we'll have activities for all. We'll have a bounce house, face painting, cotton candy, some food trucks available as well. And then we did want to make sure to have helping agencies available there as well, so it's still educational.
So I missed last year's block party, but 2 years ago I was there, and I thought it was fantastic.
This is a great year to make up for it.
Yeah, I have a conflict on that day. That rhymes with Secretary of the Air Force, but so maybe I'll drag Secretary Kendall over and he can enjoy it if his schedule permits. But no, again, thanks. I'm glad you're here, and thanks for burning these minutes with us this afternoon.
It's another awesome highlight too of our partnership with the exchange, and them hosting us and in these events and kind of giving their space up and kind of making it happen. So that's really awesome. It's cool
Thank
to
you.
see.
And then if you don't mind, we wanted to do a little shout out for volunteers.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll pass that to
So-
Devin.
Yeah, so on the flyers, if you see us, Lily and I's emails are on there. You email us if you want to volunteer and coordinate for a specific event. And the more the merrier, obviously, make work a lot easier. And then you can also go hang out and participate in an event.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I guess can we throw up that one flyer with their contact information on the bottom, please?
Everybody get ready to screenshot your phone. All
Do it
right, there it
quick.
is. Click.
Awesome.
Click. Give them a couple chances. Is that the right one? Click. Zoom in. Zoom out. You got it. Click again.
That's right.
Okay,
Yes,
they
sir.
got it. All right. Thanks, you two. Appreciate
thanks
what
so
you do
much.
as airmen, but also as volunteers for something as important as this.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your weekend.
All right.
Okay, so we're transitioning here. I'm really excited about the next event on our topic list here. For those of you that are aware, today, like literally within the last couple hours,
Yes, sir.
Chief Master Sergeant, Command Chief Master Sergeant D. Ward Swanigan Her retirement ceremony was this morning. I didn't get a chance to thank her for the honor of letting me be the officiant there. So Dee, if you're watching this or you hear about this, thank you. Thank you for having that ceremony here. Thank you to all your family for making it out here for that. And then thank you for doing me the honor or honoring me with allowing to preside over your ceremony and your day. But she out-processed.
Yes, sir.
She finished the ceremony. She probably changed into more comfortable clothes.
She did.
She turned in a computer. She went her final out-processing checklist, and I know this because I got an email like, "Hey, sir, we need one more signature. Can you handle that?" So I did that, and feedback to FSS, MPF, and the whole MSG team. Thanks for handling that in a very professional manner. For those of you that asked the question, hey, does that out-processing checklist apply to the command chief? Does that out-processing checklist apply to the commander? The answer is yes.
Yes, it does.
Right? And if we need to be agile to make it properly apply, because you got a timeline you'd like to meet, we'll do what we can. And we had a little agility required this morning, but I think we handled it just fine.
Yes,
Kudos
sir.
to the MPF team and to a senior airman who told the command chief, "No, ma'am, you may not leave until we do this."
Wow.
And they
Yeah.
partnered together to find a solution that was able to get me to sign off one last item that they needed. So good on him, and kudos to him. I'm not going to call him out in public. You can certainly find out who it is.
Yes, sir.
And he was solid, and I couldn't be more proud to have worked with that airman. But as I mentioned this morning in my remarks at Dee's retirement, this is a bittersweet day.
Yes,
The bitter part is you watch just an amazing senior leader, friend, mentor, wingman, sail off into our next transition. Last week, I pinned a volunteer service medal on our JAG. Lieutenant Colonel Evan Epstein at a scout event because he's about to PCS OA2. And the scoutmaster there, who's a guy that what was his name? Oh, it's Scoutmaster Mizell. Yeah. They have a Scoutmaster's Minute as part of their ceremony. And during his Scoutmaster's Minute, he talked to the scouts at the troop there. Shout out to the Girl Scout troop here that is here and alive and active, and the BSA troop, or should I say troops, because there's I can't remember the number, 247 I think is their troop number, and they have a 247G as well. They do most of their activities together, and it's a healthy troop, and they can always use more scouts and certainly more parents and volunteers to join them. But anyway, during his Scoutmaster's Minute, he talked about the t-shirts that they wear when they're hiking. And the t-shirts evidently have a saying on the back that says, when you're on a long and arduous journey or path, continue to look forward and think about the objective and march toward the objective. But every once in a while, stop and turn around and look at just how far you've gone.
Yeah. It's powerful.
And I think that's a very powerful message,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So Dee, of all people, is a quintessential example of someone that has stayed laser focused on what's on the horizon and moving forward. And you could see it. I could hear it. I could literally hear it in her voice that was a reflective moment, both last night at her farewell and then this morning at her retirement, where she's looking back at, wow, look at all the ground I've accomplished. But I guarantee she's on the road right now, looking back on the horizon, looking forward. So
Yes, sir.
couldn't be more proud of her. So that was the, bitter, right? Not to be confused with an English beverage that rhymes with malt, but saying goodbye to someone like that is hard. Now, the bittersweet stuff is it was a fantastic Friday. I went to two exceptional changes of command at the 461st Flight Test Squadron and the 418th Flight Test Squadron, welcoming in two new, just amazing Lieutenant Colonel, first-time commander leaders. Good on you, Colonel Mizell, for officiating those two as well. And somebody switch the camera, please. We get to welcome this guy.
All right.
Right, Chief Stoltz, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, eventually you'll learn not to blush when the camera turns on to you at town halls, I promise. So who is this Chief Stoltz guy? So Command Chief Master Sergeant Justin Stoltzfus, he goes by Stoltz, is currently the Command Chief Master Sergeant at Incirlik, and I keep forgetting the number of the wing.
39th Air Base Wing.
There you go, 39th Air Base Wing in his Tier 1 Command Chief job. We are fortunate to have been able to successfully win the fight to get you here to be Dee's replacement. So this is an opportunity, team, for you to see him, meet him. He can wave, say hi. We are actually going to make him tell us a little bit about himself here. But I'll tell you, one of the things about himself is that he's not out of his last job yet. So we need a few more weeks to get him properly out-processed and get a solid handoff in that forward location in a country that's gone through some stuff the last few months, not the least of which was an election that happened in twice, actually, in May. Original election and runoff election. And all of us certainly remember what that country went through in the form of from earthquake aftermath as well. So you've had your hands full, I'm sure, there. I can't wait to learn vicariously from some of your learning there, Chief Stoltz, and we can't wait to get you here, boots on ground, sometime in late July. So, Chief Ward Swanigan leaves on June 2nd. Chief Stoltzfus arrives in late July. It's him.
I think it's me, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
sir.
Swiss, right? It's Chief
Yes, sir.
Swiss.
Thank
So Swiss has volunteered, probably a little bit more told than tiered, but to step up and do a dual hatting. So he's going to continue to remain his proud to be MSG chief roles, and he's going to spend a lot of time in the office with an orange wall in the wing front office
Beautiful
command
orange
suite.
wall,
It is a beautiful. It is a perfect shade of orange.
Yes, it is. Yes,
It really is, and until Stoltz can get boots on ground in late July. So I'm surrounded by 2 command chiefs. There's only 1 star between the 2 of them, but no joke, Swiss. You are infinitely capable of doing the job. Thanks for doubling up.
Yes, sir.
And I couldn't be more pleased to have
Thank
you
you for
as
the
my wingman.
opportunity, sir.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely. And by opportunity, he really means that, not opportunity spelled in a different way.
No, absolutely not, sir.
No, I like it. This is twice in a row now during the command chief gap. The MSG chief has stepped up. Dan Thompson was the last guy to do it, and I have no doubt that you're gonna do just as well as he did, and he did phenomenal. So thanks, Swiss, in advance. All right, Stoltz, you had a chance to think about what you want to tell us?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. We'll call it. We'll give you an easy 60 seconds. At 90, I'll start to give you the hook, or they'll turn your mic off.
Okay,
How's
you got
that?
it. Too
So
easy.
over to you.
All right. First off, I want to say thanks to General Higer for this opportunity. They don't come around too often, and it was very competitive. So to be able to come here and be part of this team, I'm very honored. I come here with my wife, Jessica. We come here I come from Incirlik. Jess spent the last year up in Northern California at our home, so not much of a far journey for her. We do have 2 children, Aiden, who is attending the University of Colorado, and Dylan, who does construction up in Northern California. I'm sure you guys will see them around base. They'll frequent because they like mom's cooking, so I'm sure they'll be down here visiting. Yeah, like I said, I'm excited for the opportunity. I got an opportunity to sit with the Chiefs today. Super excited to work with that bunch of professionals. And the General said it earlier, it's bittersweet. We said goodbye today to one of the Air Force's finest Chief Master Sergeants, Command Chief Master Sergeants. I've known Dee for several years, and it will be some big shoes to fill. So I look forward to the opportunity, look forward to seeing you guys in the next month and a half, and I can't wait to be here and be a great teammate. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome, Stoltz, and thanks for traveling out not once but twice, TDY, to make sure that handoff was a nice warm handoff with Dee. I know she greatly appreciated it, and that gave her a lot of confidence walking off the stage today.
Yes, sir.
So thanks, and I also commend you for the Advon team you're sending to Palo Verde. So make sure you let her know that she's welcome anytime, and to not be a quiet neighbor. Lots of help there.
Yes, sir.
When or if she needs it later this month. Okay. So I'm going to make Stoltz stay with us for a little while, and then Swiss and I are going to take some shots at your questions.
Yes, sir.
So we are, I won't say delinquent, but we have a good stack up of questions that have rolled in at a couple town halls. For example, we had a town hall on May 12th, which was where our installation went to HPCon 0. It was an all-call town hall. Swiss was there in the stunt double there, and it was more of him listening to me talking, but I think there's a great story that this installation can tell, and all of us can be proud of, that we went through that ended on May 12th. That generated some questions, so we've got them kind of stacked and grouped here. And then last week, or after the 12th was the 19th, which was a quarterly award ceremony. Not time to answer a bunch of questions there, but we got some more in. The Friday after that is a family day, and so here we are with 3+ weeks worth of questions and topics to discuss. Now, just because it hasn't arrived already doesn't mean we still don't want your comment, question, or suggestion. So text those in to 707-412-8922. Now, if you can't remember that, the only 3 numbers you actually have to remember are 707. I think wide-body airplanes made by Boeing in the 1960s, 707 airframe, but that's the aviation geek in me. But the rest of it is 412-TWCC if you're typing it out on the old school phone there. So 707-412-8922. So texting your comment, your question, your suggestion, or anything else you want to dialogue with us on, that's great. So now, This slide deck contains I'll say, reasonable grouping of the questions and in a priority order that we think we can knock through. So you've seen them on the screen. Swiss, you look forward a couple and you decide which one or ones you want to address. I'll only give you the hard ones.
Yes, sir, thank you.
If you don't automatically volunteer for at least 50%. So I'll take the first swing at the bat, however. So show up put up that first question there. So roads, asphalt. This surfaced at Town Hall multiple times and has actually surfaced for multiple years. I quite literally remember in 2018 when the base civil engineer is discussing to my predecessor that the vendor that poured a bunch of the asphalt on this base did so with materials that weren't set for our environment, or something to that effect. So we got substandard asphalt. Great news. Our next command chief is a CE guy, right? So all future road horizontal construction issues are yours, Stoltz, or at least you get to go answer them.
Sure.
And the BCE, I'm sure, will greatly appreciate that wingmanship. So because of that issue, the places that it has surfaced most are on Fitzgerald. The stretch from the intersection of, I think it's Lancaster and Fitzgerald, there by the car wash, the old location, for those of you that remember, the old location of the gas station, up to just shy of like the CDC area. That stretch right there is one of those that is the worst and the oldest. It's been patched a couple times. In fact, there was a big pothole there that got filled just a few days ago. That is due to be due for a repaving project starting on 5 July. They could have started a little earlier, but they were concerned that if they started ripping up those roads, it would have a non-trivial impact to Summer Bash.
Yes.
And so Summer Bash is the 3rd, and the project begins promptly on 5 July. Summer's a good time for them to do those paving projects, and we have a continuous amount of paving that's happening on the installation. That is one of the next major projects for roads. Another major project that is paving that many of you may have noticed, but certainly all of you will notice the next time you park in this parking lot, is the parking lot of the Base Theater. That asphalt is all gone. Not that what was there could have been called much asphalt anyway, but it is gone. They're prepping the sub base or whatever it's called. Still, it's correct me to 100% on that, and they should have the asphalt poured in there. If you go back to the previous 3 years that we've had this paving contractor, they've been very consistent and prolific in what we ask them to do. The quality of the work continues to be holding. Examples there around the comm squadron. Examples there, and nobody's talking to us about it anymore, the commissary parking lot.
Yes, right. Yes, sir.
Right, and the strip from the commissary down in front of the BX. So those projects now a couple years duration without looking like any real degradation are giving us a lot of confidence in this contractor, and these are the next things we're getting after. So that's the question. There's the answer, and boy, there's a lot of happy drivers about that strip specifically. But you know who's most happy? Motorcycle riders and bicyclists. So there's the answer to your question. I hope that if you asked it and that doesn't answer it, let us know. Oh, by the way, if you're on a section of road that you think needs attention, don't just take it. Don't just let your car take it. Talk it up and let us know in forums like this. And that's a good example there of somebody saying, hey, Fitzgerald Boulevard, and we already capped what distance or what section is the most. So, all right.
And it's always wonderful to have good news to deliver with those questions too.
Absolutely.
So,
okay.
Repaving's beautiful.
So I think you're teed up for the next one, Swiss.
I think so. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's flip to the next question.
All right. Speed signs around schools, right? So we recently changed these, and it was ambiguous before.
Yes, it was.
It said when children are present. So that can be at any time, or it can vary. And then it goes into the driver. Did the driver see the kids in the school zone? Did the offender see it? So it was a little bit ambiguous. So what we did is we removed when children are present, and now it just remains 25 miles an hour all around the school zone. And there's a box here, a nice graphic, if you will. So basically, all the roads that go around the school complex are 25 miles an hour all the time, whether kids are there or not. It's very clear and no longer ambiguous. And please, 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 besides the fact that you will lose your driving privileges for doing just 1 mile an hour over, it's the right thing to do is not to speed through a school zone. right? Those kiddos are running around, as school releases and they're coming into school. They're all over the place, and sometimes they're not paying as good attention as they should be. And the last thing we need on this base, and the last thing you need if you're the driver or you're the parent of that child or a relative of that child, is for a child to get hit. So don't speed in the school zones. It's just, it's clear now, it's no longer ambiguous, and it's the law.
Yeah, so I'll double down on a couple things that Swiss said there. First, I like simplicity,
Yes.
right? Look, if on this map, the street that is furthest to the left, i.e. furthest to the west, that is Forbes.
Forbes, yes, sir.
Forbes, for the majority of that road, once you hit the hospital until you get out of housing to the north, used to be 35 the whole way. There will now be a section there that is 25, and you
Yes,
know
sir.
what? Drive 25.
Yes.
It's a high traffic area, whether school's in session or not, because of the housing areas along there. If you run some quick math, it's literally going to cost you seconds, and that is a heck of a lot faster than the burden if you have an issue along the way. So that's one item that I want to foot stomp there. The second one that is simplicity matters, and simplicity,
Yes, sir.
especially where safety is involved, is super important. Now, if 25 is safe, why not 15? Well, there are reasons why we don't need to go any lower than 25, and that is if people actually drive the posted speed limit, that gives, with the standoff we have around the new construction of the schools, that gives proper reaction time for most conceivable scenarios, as long as the driver is paying attention. Where am I going to go with this? Don't use your phones,
Yes.
right? In addition to it being an automatic suspension of driving privileges on base for being 1 mile per hour over in a school zone, it is also an automatic suspension of driving privileges on the base for using a non-hands-free device in a school zone for the exact same reason, right? There's just no tolerance, and there should be no tolerance or accepted additional risk to the kids in those areas. So it's not even a please, it's just a don't do it.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
that's it.
And
Cool.
that's unambiguous, and that's perfect.
No, it
Don't do
isn't. Yep, and it is. And so if you look at what we've done now that the school campus has been up and operational for for literally a whole school year now, we've updated parking flows, we've updated signage, we've updated, we're even putting a new entrance. The school is actually doing it, but we're working with them, a new entrance on the road that hits the middle of the campus there.
Yes, sir.
So more efficient flow for drop-off, for traffic flow, for less issues, crosswalk signs, you name it. If you can think of another way that we can increase efficiency, i.e. decreasing stress, which increases safety in this part of the base or any place else, then let us know. Happy to make those changes. I'm also still very happy to declare higher speed limits if everybody will start driving the speed limits in and out the gates. But
We'll see.
I'm still a little bit more pessimistic, but I'm holding out hope. Okay. All right, and then you can expect a full-on PA blitz on these speed limit changes. But the bottom line is, be a good driver, comply with the limits, and you're all good to go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Telework. Holy cow. Will there be changes to telework policies? Yes. Next question. No. All right. So that's not what the person wants here. So what's happening now is I think a very logical and natural progression of literally we had an emergency order in the state of California that was everybody go home, right? And does that apply to federal employees or not? What applies to federal employees or not? That was March of 2020. It took us a long time to unravel and stabilize and figure out what we wanted the answer to be, and we thought we had it figured out, and by we, I mean we AFMC, we the Air Force Test Center, and we Edwards Air Force Base 412 Test Wing, and then DOD, SAF, and OMB, OMB made changes that then knocked ours off the chessboard, and we had to not start over, but we had to update our policies. So I assess, and I believe your CPO, and she's awesome, Maria's awesome, by the way, we think that the guidance, higher headquarters guidance, is stable enough that it's time for us to start moving out on another implementation, another round of implementation here for what's the right telework posture or not. I also believe that our 100% book-to-floor, floor-to-book, so to speak, audit of telework packages and things like that, as directed by General Richardson, the AFMC commander, showed where we have opportunities to be a little bit more precise in our telework approvals and documentation of those approvals. Full disclosure, if you have been teleworking not from the local area, i.e. you went to full-time telework status and moved out of Southern California, but you haven't updated your place of employment to that new location, chances are you're being overpaid. And that's a debt to the government, which is a legitimate debt to the government, which we will work through with you, but it's a legitimate debt. We want to minimize those opportunities to have to pull things back from folks, but the locality pay is based on the locality in which you live and work. And if you don't live and work in the locality of Edwards, then you don't earn the locality at Edwards.
That's right.
So that's one thing. So the answer there is on the bottom of the screen. You've had a chance to read it, but we're waiting for implementation from HAF, we're waiting for implementation from AFMC and then AFTC before we do that. So the most current guidance that we have is dated 25 Jan 2022, and we'll continue to execute that guidance until we have the last trickle down. I think that's going to be late summer, early fall before we get that at the earliest. I would expect full implementation in late 23, but no later than early 24, and by that point we should be relatively stable. And oh, by the way, I think our nation is trying to figure out culturally,
Yes.
where does the goodness that we learned about telework, where does that fit in a non-pandemic America? And the answer is, let's not go back to 2019, because we learned a lot of things. Technology advanced a lot. I mean, think about the capability in MS Teams and Zoom and all those other items that we can legitimately do now, but also think about the losses in the interhuman connections that you've had by being disconnected from your members a lot. I will not name the shop, but there's a person that I've been working with for my whole tenure here, and my wife and I went into that office area to deliver holiday gifts. And we walked into that office area and like, where's this person? And the people in the office literally looked at us like, who? We're like, we named a name, and they're like, we have no idea who that person is. And Leslie and I were like, that's okay, so Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And then we asked the supervisor of the shop, like, hey, where's so-and-so? Oh, she's been on 100% telework since the beginning of the pandemic. And everybody that's in the shop now have been new hires since then. So they literally didn't know her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And,
wild.
and this individual is doing good work, but there's a loss of opportunity for teaming in those scenarios that sometimes is worth the gain of the retention, or worth the gain for the person if they need a medical-based accommodation. But there's a real loss in the teaming, a real loss in the transfer of knowledge, a real loss in working with your folks if you aren't ever in the office. Full-time teleworkers that are out of state still travel back TDY, so they can reconnect with teams and learn things, and they need to do so very deliberately, and their supervisors and commanders need to make sure that's a big part of the plan. And we are not the civilian world, and our civilian employees are airmen, and they're on our teams just as if, to the extent that we can, just as if they were co-located with us as well. But I think that's the best answer we can give you now. If you are interested in the update to that, I would ask in October, November, and see how what we've learned from them. But if you have any detailed questions, your EMR specialist and your HRLs in the units are a great way to look and work. And you can certainly ask up to your squadron unit commander director. All right, next one. Wage received a 25% pay raise. How will ACT demo adapt? I'm not sure I understand the question, so let me answer it a little bit more generically. The person that asked this question, if we missed, then please ask a clarifying question. And this is a huge win, and I'm glad we delivered it before Dee walked off the stage this morning. But we literally, Chief Ward Swanigan, Mr. Osborne, and I have quite literally been all but fisticuffs fighting with the Air Force to allow the supplemental salary rate, SSR, for certain career fields in the wage grade primarily, but there are a couple GS employees that I think are applicable as well. But it was already on the books in the special rate salary tables. But for some reason, everybody around us got it, but not us. And we're like, that's wrong. So it just took us a while to get through that. We are done. I am so thrilled to say that we have finally delivered that. And that was a significant bump in pay to market rate for a lot of those folks that have been hanging with us because our mission is awesome, and now we get to compensate that at a little bit more competitive of a salary there or a wage. There are other adjacent and related career fields, and I agree with you that we ought to start moving out on those as well. That is a long lead process, and the way that you get to that long lead process is we work collectively to get something into the special salary rate tables in certain career fields by certain localities. Last week at the California Leadership Defense Forum, we Chief Ward and I floated this as a topic. We think in the state of California, there's a legitimate reason to lobby as the state for some larger locality pays across all services. For example, I didn't know this, but in the middle of the San Fernando Valley, which are 2 Navy installations, so Lemoore and not Fallon, but Lemoore and International Guard Base in Bakersfield, so not Navy, but those 2, they're like general U.S. locality pay. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Has anybody not ever lived in California with all the other California bonuses,
Yes, sir.
so to speak? So there's a lot of momentum there based on what we just succeeded in the maintenance special salary rate, maintenance and related special salary rate. But that's going to require a concerted effort across all of the DoD to convince OMB to update the special salary rate tables for all federal government employees in those career fields in those localities. Break. 4.1% general increase for everyone effective January 1st of this year. And then there was a 1% bump on top of that for those that are in the LA and Long Beach area. So it's a 5.1% total increase for 2023, and that was for everyone. And that shows up if you're an academo employee in your GPI line on your part 1 of your annual appraisal. To the person that asked that question specifically, if I didn't answer it, please let me know or let us know, and we'll get you a more precise answer. All right. I don't know what the next one is. Hit it.
Here we go. Housing, senior airmen.
I'm going to hand this one off to Swiss.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank
You're
you so
welcome,
much.
Chief.
So this isn't honestly, it could be challenging sometimes. What we have done, you've done, sir, actually, is let the MHO, the Military Housing Office, allow senior airmen to stay in the dorms past 3 years time of service. But what happens kind of with that is we have new folks coming in, and so you change on the priority level, and it's in there. I don't want to bore anybody by reading the priority 3s and 1, 2, 3s. But basically that senior airman will change to a lower priority when we get inbounds and the dorms are full, which they're usually pretty close to being full. It kind of comes into a first in, last out type of first in, first out type of situation based on time and grade. And really that's to keep it fair for our brand new members coming in. It would not be right to not afford a room to a brand new airman A1C from text training the opportunity to live in the dorms when we're holding it for a senior airman that probably would be better postured to find housing in the local area. Although we do understand that it's tough to find housing, it really is. With that, hopefully.
You ready to, is that my handoff?
Yes, sir. In the
Okay.
near,
Yeah, in the not too distant future, apartments. But before I get to apartments, I want to address a couple things here that are definitely related to this. If you are interested in a roommate scenario on base in housing, line up the roommates. I believe the answer is 1 military member per room. So if it's a 3-bedroom house, you can have up to 3 people that are on the lease. Awesome. They would collectively sign a lease or individually sign a lease with May Road at the same address. I encourage you to select roommates wisely. And I believe it's a 1-year lease, so it's renewable on a 1-year.
Yes, sir.
1-year lease. Big remark from TV Land. These are active duty folks only right now. It's really challenging. I would not say impossible, but it's really challenging to get a civilian in there, and that would require certainly Colonel Casper's level of approval. So it's not a guaranteed no, but it's probably a no. But for example, if there are 3 senior airmen, they're in the dorms that all know each other, like each other, and want to be roommates together, and put yourselves on the waiting list with the Military Housing Office and let them know you want to jump into what we would call a junior NCO house, and you can fight over who gets the garage.
That's right.
Right?
Or the bigger room, I guess.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
The master.
But that is completely available. Conversely, or the same way, if you are in a house without, I'll say without dependents, so without kids running around, but if you're just a military member that is in one of those houses and you have the ability to absorb a roommate for all or part of the year, then let the Military Housing Office know, and certainly work within your unit, the first sergeant, your chief, your commander, your director. Hey, I've got room, and I'd love to pocket a little of my rent in my BAH, and I'd love to, love to share with folks. I'll give a great example of, do I practice what I preach? And the answer is yes, I do. But right now, the perfect example is that Swiss's other boss, so Colonel Blecker, and it has is Geo Batch. His family's in Florida, and the homes on Palo Verde where he is required to live are 4-bedroom houses. And so there's a person that is his roommate that has joined him there, and they're elated, right?
Yeah.
The other person has a shorter commute. He is also a Geo Batch, so it works out great. And those are the kind of opportunities that we don't have to all do it, but if nobody does it, we don't get any benefit. So if you have an opportunity to help somebody out in that way, or you are interested in joining a scenario like that, please do. This is really common amongst Space Test Course and other TPS student populations, but I don't think it's as common around, and there's no reason that it can't be. As long as I'm on the maximize the number of people that can live on the installation, if you have the ability to get out of your house a day or two earlier, that matters, because that's a day or two earlier that the next person can get off the wait list and get out of their temporary transition. So please do that. If you have the ability to write up all the things that are not perfect about your house early, so that May Road can get the work orders in and done before the turn, and all they have to do on the turn is paint, clean, maybe change some carpet, they can turn it faster because they're not doing delayed or deferred maintenance.
Yes, sir.
So get those maintenance tickets in consistently, but really, really double down on that. I've directed both the military housing officer, which is Melody Couch, and also your resident advocate, Christina Roach, to get a message out and really start to foot stomp or highlight that this is an important thing. And even if we only save one day, or rather one night, for one family with any of these accelerations, that is worth the effort. And I think we're going to save in total months of nights for families that are waiting to get in on-base housing at 93523. So that's a huge deal. Now, the bigger answer, or the biggest answer, is increasing inventory.
Yes, sir.
Right? And the way to increase inventory, currently 741 homes or residences that are available at 93523, not counting the fam cam, is on the horizon, and I think it's actually not a receding dot, and it isn't a light. I think it's actually approaching. We're going to get there. Is the Edwards apartment complex?
Wow. All right.
The Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Housing, her name is Ms. Patricia Curry, met with 3 congressional staff delegations last week. I had just spoken with her about a week and a half prior to that, and she relayed to them the same thing she relayed to me. Basically, Matt, I think this project is extremely viable. We want to make sure we expand or extend or add on to our projects in a way that are sustainable from a fiscal, but also from a property and real estate and housing perspective. So if we overextend the base housing area collapses, not literally, but if the performer, in our case May Road, starts to get into fiscal problems and we can't do it anymore, that doesn't help anyone. So that's 741 homes that are in problems. So expanding has to be a very deliberate action. Ms. Curry relayed that to me, but she thinks it's the right answer for the Continental Group. That's May Road, to put apartments in a separate, it'll appear to be similar to you, but it'll be a separate thing. It'll be sited between Mojave Sky and up the hill to the club. Our housing requirements market analysis says we need 300 and change, and if CE's online and can back me up with the actual number, great, but it's 300 and change, what are called unaccompanied non-dorm residences. Now, is it only for unaccompanied people? No, but if you are unaccompanied and you are interested in apartment living in that area of the base, which I would be if I was unaccompanied in that part of the base and wanted to live on base, you'll get the priority. That doesn't mean families can't live there, but there'll be a lower priority keeping families in the existing 741 and targeting unaccompanied folks in the others. Now, what are the apartments likely to look like? Studio. It'll be tagged to a certain rank and BAH structure, and it won't be yours. It'll be that, and that's what you pay. Mm-hmm. If you don't earn that much in BAH, that's still what you pay. You'll pay market rate tagged to that BAH. So the studio apartment will be tagged to 1. A little bit higher BAH, again tagged to another rank, will be 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment. And then the larger ones that they're envisioning are 2 bedroom, 2 bath. So that's like roommates scenario, and they're planning to tag each roommate's rent to airmen without dependent BAH.
That's fair.
So it'd be for the apartment if you want it by yourself, assuming we'd let you do that, you'd have to pay 2x, because that's just what the market would hold for that apartment. So that's the 3 plan sizes and approximately the rents. Ms. Curry's going to be with us in early August, I believe the 8th of August. I expect a couple other folks to join her in that visit. By then, I hope we have the approval through, thanks, it is August 8th. By that time, I hope, let's say expect, but I hope it'll be through OMB, and we'll understand if OMB requires us to do anything different. But we may be able to formally announce when she is here on August 8th that the project, push forward with the project has been approved, and then we get into negotiations with between AFCEC and May Road on how many, what are the other fine details.
Yes, sir.
She predicted to the congressional delegations, don't start planning a groundbreaking ceremony or a move-in date yet. We're talking later this year at the earliest, like late this year at the earliest, so after I'm gone for my job, for the groundbreaking ceremony with occupancy sometime no earlier than a 2024 date.
Okay.
But that is
Still pretty
such
fast,
amazing good news. That's the furthest this approval has been along the way. It has Chief Bass's awareness and attention, Chief Flossie at AFMC's awareness and attention, General Richardson, General Alvin's attention. It has multiple secretaries and political appointed officials in OSD. It has Congressman Obernolte, Congressman Garcia, and the Speaker by name, those 3 elected officials' awareness and their staffs. And I'm confident we are going to get to success on that. And then we still have a deficit of family units of about 190. Wow. So after we deliver apartments and get that one moving, it'll be time to reattack the growth of family units in that. Our vision/hope is that we can expand in one fell swoop with the validated HERMAs at Herbie and also at Eglin, is that we can do it all in one big increase in the continental group size at all 3 at the same time, as opposed to doing them individually. Wow. So that's the path forward there. Timeline there, boy, no earlier than 2025 would be my expectations, and that's a no earlier than. But we know the need's there, and these are huge steps in that right direction. So, okay, it's a good riff on housing, and it allows me to talk about apartments, and I'm cautiously optimistic. I may even dance a jiggy on a town hall if we get to approval.
Hey, I'll be here for it, sir.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen before August 18th, so I'll make Colonel Wickert do that. How's that sound, Stoltz?
I think he'll appreciate that.
All right. Okay, what do we got next? All right, lighting in housing. So we have it on good authority, i.e. CE Group, that they went through Mountain View and Mesquite Meadows, made repairs. If you know of any others, that is where Christina Roach, your housing resident advocate, is the right place. Hey, I don't know where to take this, Christina, but here it is. She'll either grab it and run with it, or she'll know exactly who you can talk to because she can't hand it off on your behalf. But that's something great there. She works for the Vice, not for CE. So if CE doesn't do what is needed, she can work with Colonel Kaspers to make sure that the right things happen for the right reasons. And that's the design of who her chain of command is from that job. Another good call out are the neighborhood, help me out, Swiss. They have little yard signs out in front that I'm your neighborhood resident advocate.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'm one of them.
You are fantastic. Well, there you go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so if you see that sign in front of somebody's house and you can't don't want or can't track down Christina Roach fast enough, your resident advocate sits on the Resident Advisory Council.
Yes, sir.
And that's another great forum where we can talk about things that affect more than one neighborhood. Yeah. If you are a resident of the FAM camp, you have a resident advocate there as well.
Yes, sir.
And that was a walk-on that I directed about a year ago to make sure that we had that neighborhood represented also. And I'm told that the Resident Advisory Council meets quarterly.
Yes.
Swiss, do you happen to know when the next one might be? I can't remember off the top of my head.
It should be in 2 months, sir. We just had one last month. So.
Okay,
yes,
all right. Bug the people with the signs in front and make sure they get your inputs in. And more importantly, if you got a question, they can ask it and get it back to you as well. So great source.
And some of them we don't have to wait all the way until the Resident Advisory Council meeting. We can get that information funneled up to Christina Roach or the MHO, Military Housing Office, to get these things fixed. So.
Okay.
parking lot and the defect, yeah, it needs repainted, absolutely. There's no plan in place right now. CE's tracking it, FSS is tracking the need for it. We don't have the project in the system, if you will, per se. Likely we'll probably be waiting on fallout to get that done. And then once we get that done and we get the fallout for that, the fallout funds or the resources, we can act pretty quick on that and get that repainted.
Yeah, I candidly, folks, I certainly care about this, and there are a lot of other parking lots that also need paint. So if
Yes,
you can
sir.
think of another one, get that into the facility owner, so that we can prioritize this in one big bucket. This is the kind of work that if we can put a big enough thing together that ends up being able to contract out,
Yes,
that's
sir.
a very efficient use of CE person power, and then we can do that Band-Aid rep. Now, the reality here is that that's a very viable fallout item, but you know, if the parking lot's viable and a senior leader has to walk a little bit more, I'm telling you, I don't mind.
Honestly, I didn't even realize there were senior leader parking. I just park wherever is open. And
Yeah, and
It's good
so if you are aware of someone that has a need for closer parking or for
Yes.
reserved parking, that is a separate but potentially related issue as well. If you look at how important I think it is that all generals and all colonels and all chiefs have dedicated parking close to the doors, look at the way the parking spots were painted when we repaved the commissary.
Yes, sir.
To let you know what my priorities are for who should have the close spots to parking. And hint, it ain't generals, colonels, and chiefs.
That's right.
So,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. Yeah, so I kind of adjusted this one already.
Yes,
This
sir.
is the special salary rates. The bottom line answer is that the special salary rates were already published. DoD works on those for job series with the larger federal government. What we need to do, literally what we need to do, is what has already been initiated, is go figure out what other job series are in need of that from a recruiting and retention perspective, and begin that process again in a very collective way. So it wasn't that we didn't care about or think about or want to work for 412 CEG folks. It's that there are job series that exist in that. So there's a special salary rate table, which you can look up. I encourage you to do that. If you don't see your job series or the job you're interested in there, highlight that through the leadership team and let us know which ones you ought to walk on. And more importantly, if you can, try to give us some data of what would the comparison be in the local area, and then have some patience. Right? We need some strategic patience on this. This isn't going to be an overnight fix. It is worth the effort,
Yes,
but the
it is.
return on that investment is measured in years, not decades, but it's certainly measured in low single-digit annual years for that. So it wasn't an exclusionary thing. It was finally getting the existing special salary rates applied at the zip code where we are. And now that we know how to do that part, we're going to go back to start and look at other ones, like folks in CEG and other large, broad GS and wage grade folks that work here at the Center of the Aerospace Testing Universe. Okay,
sir.
next.
All right.
Looks like MSG to me, Swiss.
Yes, sir. This is actually fortuitous in a way. I was just over there yesterday with Arts and Crafts. They produced the wonderful gift we gave for Chief Force Swanigan yesterday.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
That was
It was
impressive.
actually amazing.
Yeah. The little demonstration was great. So they figured out a way to make the decal turn orange when you put cold liquid in the carafe, or what do you want to call it. So we talked to them about this. Right now their turnaround's about 3 weeks. They're having a little bit of some manning issues. So we started off this hour with the career fair on June 15th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Military Family Readiness Center. So if you're looking for a job, they have some jobs over there. They're having a lot of fun over there with the people they have and the adjustments we've made. Also, they've got a lot of new equipment ready to be installed. They got a brand new engraver that actually is capable of cutting through wood, so they'll be able to create more stuff. New screen printers, stuff over there to do shirts and other kind of things. So it's just a matter of getting that equipment set up, getting the right people trained properly to operate it, and maybe we'll be less than maybe a 1 week turnaround. It's going to take some time, so please give us a little bit of grace, if you will, while we get there. But the Arts and Crafts Center they're trying to get after it. They want to be your first choice, if you will, here on Edwards Air Force Base for anything you need, arts and craft wise.
Obviously, lead time helps. So if you know what you're going to need in a month, then ask for it in a month and get it done early. That helps a lot, especially if you have some flexibility in your delivery date. Frankly, if you wait till the last minute and want it bad, you might get it bad no matter who you ask of that.
Yes.
So that's one thing. So look, Chief Swiss said it, and I know that Major Moyer believes it. Arts and Crafts and that shop wants to compete. They want to be your vendor of choice. And if you find a better place or a better way, then let us know what you found and who can do that, and we can use that as a benchmark and someone to pace the performance of that shop and the hiring and other things. There may be things that we can learn from off-base folks that provide a similar or service. I think there's a way to get that place back to a choice shop quickly.
Yes, sir.
And there are some neat things that can happen there along with other FSS activities. So
Yes, sir.
thanks for the
And there's
person asking.
If it's okay, sir, there's some stuff they're bringing in too. One thing they just showed me, I think it was yesterday, the day before, they're going to be able to have the ability to print photos like you would at Walgreens, CVS, what have you, right? You can get an 8x10 printed from your device or email it to it. They're working on that capability too. So
Sweet.
a lot of good stuff's coming.
Yeah, and save you the 60-mile round-trip drive.
Yes,
Or
sir.
20 miles if it's
Yes,
feeling to go to
absolutely.
Rosemont. So cool. So we're at time, but we're gonna rip the Band-Aid on these last two.
Let's do
So next one, let's talk DFAC, right? Dining facility. So those of you that use the DFAC and are meal card holders, we have that there specifically for you. It is subsidized food that you get as part of your service to our nation as a junior enlisted member. So it's primarily for you. However, they have capacity. And oh, by the way, I think it's really awesome when, especially at lunchtime, we see junior airmen in there with all kinds of ranks and stripes and colors and civilians and you name it. It's a good time. But because it is subsidized, everybody that's not a meal card holder, not just civilian, but everybody pays a surcharge on what they have, what they get when they're there. That surcharge goes to some of the overhead for the facility, and right now, 33% seems a little steep, and we can't peanut butter spread it because of the way the meal card process works.
Yes, sir.
If you have a better idea or see other solutions, great. But right now, we're consistent. If you see that it's not being applied consistency, I know that facility manager would like to know that, and
Oh, yeah,
so would
for
the
sure.
FSS leadership. And if you have ideas or ways that we can, do a surcharge holiday or something along those lines, I know that we try to do those around Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yes, sir.
So those are two examples, but lots of opportunity there.
And it's still extremely affordable to eat.
Couldn't agree more.
Even with the surcharge. I went over there just the other day, I had lunch, and I think Colonel Blecker bought it for me, and out the door it was $8
Yep.
for two good-sized lunches.
Yep. And there's a little bit of buffer between the 15 plus an hour for the employment that you are seeing in your bill when you go to a fast food place that is the DFAC as well.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
So, okay, one to go.
Yes, sir, I think so.
Library. I don't have any expertise on this one. I'm a big fan of our library, Swiss, but you want to hit this one, and if we need to take this as a phone a friend or a reattack later, we will.
So my family and myself, I was just actually over the library 2 days ago dropping off a couple books that my kiddo was reading. They were a few days late. I dropped them off, though. We found them. So he just loved one of the books. We had to read it over and over again. The library is amazing here. If you haven't had a chance to get out there and check it out, they have programming on the STEAM programming on the weekend for kiddos. It's excellent. It's not going to close this summer. So I think it kind of addresses that on the bottom here. It's really a refresh is what we're trying to do. And a time frame hasn't been solidified yet, but it'll be fall, winter. Usually when the library is used a little bit less. And I don't have the duration of this refresh, but it's not a full revamp. So we're not talking years of being closed. And the good news is FSS, along with CEG, we're able to devise a way to have a pop-up type library. So the capability will still be there. It just won't be as robust in the beautiful space they have now. So that's the answer on that, sir.
Love it. I'm going to riff on that real fast and talk about what an awesome community that you're moving into, Stoltz, and that Swiss and I get the privilege of living in with our families. And one of the things, and I kind of already hit it in this broadcast, but it is such a vibrant little town.
Yes,
right?
sir.
We need more scale to give more opportunities to increase quality of life for everyone that lives and works at 93523. But a great example of the synergy that is there, referenced libraries and scouts. I had an Eagle Scout, ready to be an Eagle Scout person who's working on his Eagle project, approach me at that Scout meeting yesterday and say, hey, my project approved by the council is the borrow a book things that are out, the mini libraries. I can't remember exactly what he called them, but I've seen them in neighborhoods around, and he's got 3 siting locations that he, I believe, are approved with May Road to put those in the housing area.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? That's a fantastic idea. Now I'm gonna. The Scoutmaster was like, no, you can't just talk to him here. You gotta get a more formal briefing because there's a learning process involved as well. But those kind of little examples and the synergy that happen when we have Scouts and a vested community, and the school is right there, and we can have parent-teacher associations and other items like that, and spouses clubs and soccer games and soccer leagues and summer bash and you name it. All in a community where we know, we love, we work with, we trust our neighbors, and we're behind a very well equipped, very well trained, and with appropriate standoff distance line of defenders.
Yes, sir.
It's an amazing place to live and work, and I could not be more proud to be your neighbor and be the #1 fan and supporter for everything that you do that supports 93523. So. With that as my top-level thought at the end of a very long Friday, but with a lot of momentous movements.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations again to Chief D. Ward Swanigan on her retirement and the conclusion of 25 highly successful years. I thought her flag-folding ceremony was best seen to date.
Yes, that was amazing.
And the lineup of the folks that helped with that, go look it up. I'm not going to spoil it. Go look it up. You want to go watch that. It was impressive and a testament to what our Air Force is today.
Yes, sir.
That was phenomenal, right? Congratulations to the successful command tours of Lieutenant Colonel Sin Campbell at the 461st and Lieutenant Colonel Pat Riz at the 418th. Godspeed, gentlemen, as you transition off to your next adventures, 1 school and 1 promotion to Mister. And then good luck filling the shoes for those 3 amazing leaders. I'll go reverse order. Dan Adelstein at the 418th, Joker Jackson at the 461st, and 1H Chief Stoltz here in the command chief area. You got large shoes to fill. I'm infinitely confident and capable that you're the right 3 people for those 3 jobs, and I look forward to supporting you from above as you accelerate in those areas. With that, Swiss, have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. You too.
Stoltz, thanks for being here. Safe travels back to Turkey. Hurry up and out process. Take your leave en route, and we look forward to seeing you in July.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. So long for now from the center of the aerospace testing universe.
Have a great weekend.